What?
And I'm going to give you one opportunity because we're friends.
Winner!
Who gives a shit about where the ball's been?
Yeah, F him. They went from loving this guy, best move ever, to hating him.
I think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
I love it because it tells you how the game was played.
There's nowhere for him to go. I think there's one place.
You can't do that in the national team. Do I look like I'm freaking kidding?
He does things that are absolutely insane.
Successful and sexy? No. It wasn't aggravating at times? Yes.
Sorry,
That's not very fair.
It's not about being fair.
Welcome to the greatest soccer show ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, happy Halloween. I hope you had a great weekend. We have certainly had a great weekend. We'll tell you all about it. We'll tell you about the soccer that happened. Whoo-wee. Some scary good goals. Some scary performances in that Bundesliga as well. My word, Harry Kane. Lots to get to today. We, as you can see, I'm dressed up. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? You should. Terry Butcher, September 6, 1989. You're welcome. Goalless draw against Sweden. That got us through to Italia 90. Yes, that's who I am. We've got some fun we're going to have today. As you can see, we've got the studio decorated here all decorated up for Halloween. It's coming up in a couple of days. Who else do I have in the studio with me? Ooh. Well, I've got Danny Price and Pedro. Hi, boys. How's it going?
Hello.
Hey, I'm Danny Price. You can tell by my sexy ears.
You're a sexy fox.
Sexy fox, Danny Price.
Danny Price, yeah.
And you're a ketchup bottle, right, Craig?
Something like that. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, did they win that World Cup?
No.
Oh, shit.
It's okay. Yeah. No. Pedro, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Fantastic.
Vote for Pedro.
Are you just being offensive now?
Vote for Pedro. I tell you what,
Why are you
If I
appropriating
win-
other people's cultures?
if I win, you can be my secretary or something.
I'd be a hot secretary, too, because I'm a sexy coach named Danny Price with my sexy fox ears.
Danny, your accent seems to have disappeared.
I dropped it for the sexy accent
Okay.
that I have.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, interesting. We also have Brooks over here. Hi, Brooks. Brooks went on a diet recently, and I'm pretty sure he took it a little too far. Oh, my. Oh, Brooks. Yeah, as you can see, we are without Brooks tonight. He is working on scouting reports.
Wait, we are without Brooks?
We
That's not Brooks.
That's not Brooks. I thought it was.
I thought that was just an impressively good costume.
Brooks, please talk. You're freaking me out, dude.
All right, boys. Before we jump
You
in.
know what? I've got something to say about that.
Uh-oh. All right. What happened?
Brooks didn't want to show up on our Halloween special because every Sunday is a Halloween special that he dresses up in a bloody lacrosse shirt.
Ooh, good call.
Ooh.
Was that taking the gloves off?
Yeah. Let's listen to his rebuttal.
Brooks, anything? Hello?
Anything, Brooks?
Anybody? Hello?
He's speechless.
He is speechless. He's currently speechless. Yeah, he is. All right, boys, we're going to jump in. Before we do, I do want to say a big thank you to Soccer World. You can get all your soccer gear needs at soccerworld.net. Thank you to Next Level Training, Aaron Bird, Dylan, Renato, Scotty Wright, George Keithis, by the way, new trainer over there. And they have a brand spanking new space over there in West Bloomfield. Check it out, Next Level Training, the best trainers in the country. Thank you to Dog and Pony Show Brewing. Appreciate it. By the way, they had an absolutely, I wasn't there due to a family event, phenomenal Halloween party last night. I am really bummed I wasn't there because, man, those pictures looked awesome. Kyle and Jake and Ashley and the guys over there did an awesome job. What an awesome looking party they had. I'm bummed I missed it. Thank you to the Michigan Jags. They've done some really cool things as of late. We will talk about some of their players coming up as well. My son just got done with Junior Jags this past week and did a trunk or treat. Very cool. All the kids dressed up. The Academy girls put on trunk or treat stuff. Very well done. Very, 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 very well done to the Michigan Jags. All right. We're going to jump in. Lots of soccer, lots of football was played this weekend. I got to be honest, we're going to start with Jude Bellingham. This guy, I call him a guy. He's a kid. He's 20. He just turned 20 in June. June 20. He keeps this pace up. There's no way he can keep this pace up, by the way. There's absolutely no way. 13 games, 13 goals. 2 goals against Barcelona in his first El Clasico, the Rolling Stones were in attendance. The Rolling Stones were at this game. You'd think they would be the biggest players, the biggest people in the stadium. The most known, no, I'm sorry. Up steps Jude Bellingham. Scary good. 2 goals, pulls by himself, pulls Real Madrid back into this, and then winning. Just phenomenal performance. Boys, I do want to, we had some discussions via text. We've put it out there on our Facebook group. Wow.
Yeah,
What a performance.
It's amazing, purely amazing what Dortmund developed out of that player. You guys should send all of your English national team players over to. What's Calvin Phillips doing?
Yeah.
Send him to the Bundesliga.
He might not count. He's a little too old.
Send him to the Bundesliga.
Because
we'll turn him out into a world-class player.
Because it's a farm league, right?
I mean, we constantly do it.
Are you fully behind the idea that Germany were the ones that developed Jude Bellingham?
I mean,
giving no hat to the Birmingham City in his boyhood club.
no. Was he playing Champions League football with Birmingham City?
Oh yeah, they haven't been in the Champions.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Did he play Champions League football with Birmingham City, which got him called up to the national team at a young age? Nope.
Why did Borussia Dortmund buy him?
Because
he played well for Birmingham City.
Why didn't he go anywhere else in England?
Because he wanted to follow a pathway that was right for him.
With that pathway to get first team opportunities on a Champions League squad. And
you're saying that you're literally standing behind the fact that Dortmund are the only ones that developed.
I mean, I'm sure he was super thrilled about going to a country that he didn't speak the language, leaving his family, being all alone. Like everyone's like, yeah, gun ho to do that versus staying at home at a bigger club and getting playing time there.
I will say the rumor is that Dortmund actually offer bigger percentage of the sale to the player. Mm-hmm. So I heard today, I need to confirm this, that when they do purchase a player, they give 30% of that sale, whatever the price is, back to the player and the agent. Maybe. So you can see why so many players would want to go there. Now, I will not dispute that Dortmund have done an absolutely phenomenal job. Just to name a few, Jadon Sancho, Jude Bellingham, as we talked about, Christian Pulisic, Gio Reyna, many more players they have developed and sold on. Absolutely. But to give sole credit to them, no.
Sole credit.
No. Mm-hmm. He was spotted at the age of 8, played till the age of 17 at Birmingham City, made his debut when he was 16, scoring goals in the championship. Player of the match, by the way, in that first game for Birmingham City. He could have gone to pick any league in the world. He could have gone to for 2 years, and I think he'd still end up at Real Madrid right now because the kid was bound to do what he's doing. Destiny. That's the only thing I've got.
I mean, yeah, after he got developed by Dortmund, he was bound to do what he was doing.
Yep. But like I said, he could have gone anywhere.
No, probably wasn't going to get developed anywhere.
He could have.
But he didn't, and it wasn't.
He absolutely could have.
And I could have, I don't know, married a supermodel. We never really know. Didn't happen. So
this is
what
true.
happened was he went to Dortmund, he became a better player, and then went on. That's called what? When you go somewhere and become a better player, what's that called?
What if he'd gone somewhere else and become an even better player?
And what if he died of a heart attack? Like before any of this all happened? What if? What was?
I can't give credit to the Bundesliga for everything.
What was? He went to Dortmund.
He did.
He became a better player.
Yes. 93 appearances.
Called into your national team.
Yeah.
He was given first team starting opportunity.
What if I told you that I think maybe Dortmund stunted his growth?
Okay. How? Where? And why?
Well, at Dortmund, he had 92 appearances. Do you know how many goals he scored?
Like what, 43?
12.
12? No. No. Try again.
How many did he score?
Hold on. That is way off. I don't know where you just pulled that number.
Something called wikipedia.org.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that before,
you might want to check. You might want to check again.
No, let me look.
Let's
right
hear.
Here. Goals.
He had 132 appearances and 24
goals. I'm seeing senior career Borussia Dortmund.
I'm looking at it right here on.
So am I.
On Foot mob.
Oh yeah, don't trust that over Wikipedia, by the way.
I
How
would.
many goals? How many goals?
24.
24?
He had 4 at Birmingham City.
24. Wait, hold on. You're telling me okay. Either way, you're telling me 132 appearances. That's probably in total, right? That's probably not just league. That's everything. He had 24 goals. He's played for 13 games for Real Madrid and scored 13 goals in a much tougher league.
No, it's not.
Wait.
You have 2 teams in that
You're
league.
You're
telling me that the La Liga is a tougher league when you're on the best team in a league, two-team race?
What about Atletico Madrid? They won it.
Atletico Madrid.
Okay,
Can I interject a minute?
please.
Can I?
He had 4 goals at Birmingham City.
They
The
did
kid-
produce him.
The kid was on a path to superstardom anyway before he went to Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, okay, sure.
I'm
If you say so. It's all after the fact. He was on this super path to superstardom after the fact.
I'm happy that he did okay at Borussia Dortmund, but he didn't set the world on fire.
You didn't set the world on fire. That's
No.
why he got a starting role.
Real Madrid. He went to Real Madrid, right? Because
As a highest
on a
paid
second, you're gonna let me finish.
midfielder there was. Sure, but you're absolutely speaking rubbish at this point. But go ahead.
There were several midfielders.
there were several midfielders who were being courted by Real Madrid at that time, and there were several midfielders that could have gone anywhere in the world. There were several other clubs that were interested in Jude Bellingham, not just because of what he did at Borussia Dortmund, but because of what he did at Birmingham City. United were all over him before he went to Dortmund.
He was one of the
So
largest.
to say that he was solely developed at Borussia Dortmund because it's
Solely
the
developed.
Bundesliga, it was fucking horseshit.
Okay. That's why he went to some big marquee club in the Premier League at that age. That's why they.
You know what? I'll share a comment from Facebook with our good old Luke Zagorski there. He was on a path to superstardom at Birmingham. Of course he was. In the first team as a 16-year-old. Come on.
Of course he was.
16.
in the championship.
So
yes.
why didn't he go to Liverpool? Why didn't he go to City? Why didn't he go to Manchester United? Why didn't
I
he
don't
go-
know. Why
Okay.
is the sky
Okay.
blue?
Well, I can tell you why. Because
Money.
they weren't going to give him first team opportunity.
You don't think he would have been at the first team at Manchester United?
Absolutely not.
Oh, you're
Not right away.
Whoa.
He's come in tonight smoking crack.
Yep.
Not right away.
Yep.
No.
He
because
walks
nope.
into any
Nope.
first team in the world.
Now he does.
No.
Yes. Now he does. Everyone's reliving history because he did good for 2 years in Germany. They're all reliving history. He was not this marquee player coming in. He was popular. That's why he went for $25 million to Dortmund. You get opportunities there because of the way their structure works.
I will say,
And you don't get opportunities as a youth player at Manchester United.
Yeah.
What is Borussia Dortmund's business model? What do we believe?
Buy
their
low,
business-
sell high. How many times have they done it?
Buy low,
And
sell
how many times
high.
have they done it?
They're a selling club, not
Yeah.
a developmental club.
Yeah,
They're a selling
they're a
club.
selling club. Just like Brighton. Buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
They saw that they could.
They're
they were willing to pay more than any of the other clubs for him at the time. And from what I understand, it was a bit of a like, hey, under the rug, like, get it done now. Let's not wait. Probably gave Birmingham City some extra cash. Gave him some extra cash, is what I said earlier. And yeah, they knew. Everybody in the world knew he was going to be a superstar. Buy low, sell high. They actually bought high, but
25
sold
million
even
is high?
higher. Sold
25
even
million's
higher. At the time, for a 16, 17-year-old, it was. That was a lot of money.
That's-
That was a lot of money 4 years ago when the market wasn't as crazy as it is now with Saudis. But anyway, we could talk about this all night long. The fact that he is doing what he is doing right now, there is absolutely no way he can sustain this pace. 13 games, 13 goals. If he ends up with, let's say, 20 goals this year, should we just hand him the Ballon d'Or? I mean, literally just say, why wait till October of next year to get all? Just hand it to the kid. He is absolutely phenomenal. Here's something that happened in the El Clasico. He was actually stuck out wide left. Coming into the game, they said that he had a small injury. He'd picked up a slight knock, he felt some discomfort in his groin and leg. They let him. There was a huge thing up before the game. Maybe he wouldn't play. He played. You could see he was just a little off the pace in the first half. I don't know if it was because of the injury or the way that Barcelona set up to play against him. They made changes at the half, and all of a sudden, he starts popping up in the middle of the field, a little higher when they have the ball, and then when they win the ball deep in their own box, he started coming back closer to his own box a little bit. Carlo Ancelotti made some tactical adjustments, down 1-0, and it paid off. It absolutely paid off in the second half because you'll notice both goals, obviously which he scored, he was higher up the field and he received the ball in positions, one just outside the box for that first goal, and then the second goal on the 6-yard line. By the way, that first goal, stunning. I actually think the second goal was harder because he has to adjust his body after it's deflected by Modric as it comes in. Unfreaking believable how he does that and doesn't just put it straight into the goalie. He has enough foresight to get over top of the ball and hammer it down.
Well, Madrid,
just stunning.
I mean, Madrid are one of the best teams in the world at the minute. You know, by stretches. You know, I mean, they're playing very well, and he is. If he continues this form throughout the season, he's on his way to being one of the best players in the world.
You know, the funny thing is, in the We Are Soccer Facebook group, if you're not on it, join it. There was some discussion about, is he better than Zidane? Now, let's hold the horses, right? We're 4 months into his Real Madrid career. Zizou is one of the greatest players of all time. He is legendary at Real Madrid. But Real Madrid and Zizou scored 13, never scored more than 12 goals in a season for Real Madrid. This kid's got 13 and 13.
Zizou never learned his game in Germany.
I mean, that's one way to look at it. But, I mean, let's hold our horses, right? Zizou's won a World Cup. Zizou has won almost everything out there. Phenomenal player, one of the best players ever. I wouldn't put Jude Bellingham right in that category yet, but he continues this for another couple of years, and he will absolutely be there. This was just a classic El Clasico. Just some hard tackles, some fun was being had all around the place. Like I said, Rolling Stones are there. Barcelona at home played with the Rolling Stones logo on their shirt. So, you know, Keith and Mick were there chopping it up, and they weren't too happy when Barcelona lost.
I think he's upset with me.
Who's this?
I think Nate doesn't take me seriously because I'm wearing a stash.
Well, it does keep moving around your face, by the way.
Can you not take me seriously because I'm wearing a stash? Is it
Can't take you seriously with your cup.
Is it affecting my blue eyes?
Can't.
It's
too dark in here. Hold on. Let me hold this light up to your eyes.
Scary dark.
My peach complexion.
Peach.
Would you make it feel?
Why would your complexion be peach?
You always say that my skin. Oh, by the way, you know, like we became like one of.
Hold on, we'll be right with you.
Yeah, yeah. We're just gonna hang out over here by ourselves.
Matthew Perry died this weekend. By the way, where's our friend's reference gone now? We're no more Joey and Chandler. We have to find a new reference.
Or it could be Chandler, or Joey. Which one died?
Chandler.
Oh, thank you.
The Chandler character died. Yeah.
We don't want you to die, dude. We just have to find we have to find a different bromance for us.
When Brooks, what do you think about that?
Speechless again. Brooks, what is wrong with you today, man?
I need to take this
Cat
stash off.
got his
Can I take
tongue.
the stash off? Yeah, I'm taking the stash off.
Oh, hey, Danny, when did you get here?
Hey, how's it going? I'm good now. Holy cow.
I think Danny should really grow his real hair out like that.
He could grow a mustache.
Could you imagine if I
I could. I think I have imagined it at night alone. What?
Interesting.
Moving on.
Anyway. All right, we're going to get to a thriller.
Fun fact.
In Germany, by the way. This is right down your alley there, my friend.
Before we get to that thriller in Germany,
right.
MLS playoffs going on.
Yeah.
You know who I got a call from today?
Patrick Noonan. No.
Danny Noonan, his brother?
No.
I don't know.
Brooks.
No.
Brooks?
No, he
No, it
didn't
wasn't
call
Brooks.
me. That was really sad. Our number one fan or number one, I don't know what you'd call him, Sunday jersey promoter.
Holy diver.
Yep. He went down to the DCFC game.
Down in Louisville last night?
Yep. And if you have a map, that's here. Since he's here,
Yeah,
Michigan's
it's pretty
here.
close. Yeah.
And he was texting me. He's like, "Oh, are you going down to that game?" I said, "No, not busy weekend. Just couldn't make time for it."
Yep.
And I was like, you should go because they're literally giving away tickets right now. They want a sold out crowd. They were giving away tickets.
Why are they having
tickets,
to, why are they having to give away tickets?
Sunday night, crappy weather, apparently like $19 tickets. Like literally he bought tickets for $19. Anyways, he's down at the game right now. Cincinnati's winning 2-0. And he was texting me before and he's like, I hope this is a good game. DCFC was so freaking bad.
Yeah, they lost 4-0.
And
We'll
he's
talk
like,
about it.
apparently, he was like, even the goals were really bad. He's like, so we have been unfortunate this trip. The trip has been dog piss Jones. He said, like, traffic was just crap. And I was like, watch Lucio Acosta. He's really amazing. Scored a 50-yard goal then already.
There's some discrepancy with the 50 yards.
About 50 yards.
Someone said it was like in between 35.
It was about
But either way, it was
37
long.
yards.
50.
It was long.
About 50.
Hey, you know what? Someone tag
50.
Chris Rosen, Holy Diver is his screen name.
He's watching the game right now.
Tag him. Yeah,
I still think
let him know we want an update.
I still think Beckham's is better.
No, it was Beckham's was further. Beckham's was further.
Well,
I think Beckham's is best at like any halfway line
Oh,
shot.
yeah. No, it wasn't. It was 10 yards off half.
wait, what was 10?
Acosta's goal was about 10 yards off half.
Was it as far as Harry Kane's goal from this weekend?
No, it was not.
That was from
Segway.
as they would say, as they would say in the NBA, way downtown. That was
He's on fire.
a rocket. You see him look up, and he goes, "Yep, I'm gonna have this." Harry Kane, hat trick, 8-0. We'll talk about that.
Munich
right
is
now.
really developing a world class player at Harry Kane,
yeah,
just like they did Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, they only had to. Do they have the same business model as Borussia Dortmund?
Buy low, they're gonna
sell
sell him high
high. So they bought him for 100, and they're gonna sell him
for
for
105
105.
to Man United.
Back to Tottenham,
Back to
actually,
Tottenham.
for probably about 70.
They'll win the league this year.
But
Munich,
you think Harry Kane's going to leave Bayern Munich
Not
I
after
had a
a
theory.
4-year deal.
I had a theory he would leave after 2 years.
to go where? Back to the Premier League.
Back to the Premier League to finish it out. Yeah, at 32.
Tottenham have first rights at him.
Wouldn't it be so we said this earlier on, right?
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be so ironic if Spurs won the Premier League this season and Bayern Munich got pipped to the title?
So good. And I'll
Maybe
tell
I-
you,
I
Feel
piss-
bad for Harry Kane,
I
though?
would piss myself laughing.
Wouldn't you feel bad for
Literally.
Harry Kane?
No.
I would.
No.
No, not at all. I would piss myself laughing.
I had say his name again, the coach's name, because I can't do it.
Ange Postecoglou.
That guy. I had the theory. I had the theory that
Ange Postecoglou.
Thank you. I had a theory that he didn't fit his system and what he wanted to do, and that's why he kind of greenlit the go ahead and we're good to sell him as high as just get it, And then they milked everyone and got rid of a player that
You're probably not wrong.
I
Okay, hold on. I got to get back to this.
haven't lost.
I got to get back to this. Listen.
Where are we?
We cannot begrudge Harry Kane for leaving Tottenham, right? For the past several years, manager in, manager out, manager in, manager out. The guy has stood tall and done his job. He re-signed 2 contracts with them. He has been a stand-up player, a stand-up human for that club. I do not begrudge him for wanting to leave because they swapped to another manager that he probably didn't know very much about. I would feel bad if they won with and he wasn't there.
Do you know why I don't feel sorry for him?
Why not?
Because there was one other there was one other Englishman that didn't do it. He didn't leave, and he had the opportunity to leave on several occasions. He had the opportunity to leave for Chelsea and did it for Real Madrid.
David Beckham.
No,
Oh,
Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard didn't leave, stayed with the club that was his boyhood club his entire life, just like Harry Kane. Steven went out on loan a couple of times as well.
He did.
But he always came back and he never left. And I don't feel sorry for him if Tottenham end up winning the league and Dortmund and Bayern Munich win nothing. I don't feel sorry.
Steven Gerrard won the Champions League. I believe they had an FA Cup as
Doesn't
well.
matter. Like
won something.
whatever any English footballer says to you, right? The bread and butter is the Premier League. The bread and butter is the league. They want to win the Premier League. Want to win it.
I mean, I agree.
So for him to bail, and he wants to go to Bayern Munich and win a league that they've won for the last 13 years in a row. It's easy for him. No problem.
but it's really looking like they might not win though. It's.
I hope Stuttgart win it, mate. I really do.
No, they're not. Come on, stop it.
But I'm teasing
No,
you.
it's gonna
I'm
be later.
tickling you.
It's-
I'm
it's-
tickling you under the table
Oh,
here. I hope
hey.
Stuttgart win it.
Ooh.
I really do.
Hey,
It would be that would
Labor-
be bigger than Leicester. That would be Leicester City-esque if Stuttgart won it. Just so everybody's aware, everybody's watching right now. You may not know the Bundesliga. Stuttgart, Nate's favorite team,
Yeah.
by far his favorite team, right?
Uh-huh.
They were in the relegation playoffs last year, so in
And
the
the year
Bundesliga-
before.
and the year before.
And the year before that.
The bottom two teams get relegated. The third to last place team goes into a 2-game playoff, against the third place team in the Bundesliga 2. So, listen, that would be Leicester-esque if Stuttgart won it. I still believe, sorry, but I believe Bayern Munich will win.
My
Munich will
my buddy Luke Zagorski, right, has just gone an absolutely 2-foot tackled Nate. He's gone.
Yeah, he's
Nate,
pissed because since he's winning.
I just flipped over to the Cincy game, Nate journalist. More empty seats than at the Etihad on a sunny Wednesday. Couldn't fill a stadium with oxygen, let alone human beings.
There's about 20,000 people there, Luke.
Oh my God, that is brilliant! Shout out to Luke, brilliant, mate. Absolutely
I've
brilliant.
never heard that one before.
It's probably about as empty as his Crew Stadium is going to be later. Anywho, here's the deal, though.
Go for it.
Leverkusen haven't lost a match this year.
Why don't
No. This year in all
2023?
in all competitions since the season started.
Here, you know what we're going to do while we're talking? Go ahead. Here is the Bundesliga table. You're right. There you go.
Well,
Bayer Leverkusen 2 points ahead of Bayern Munich, who are in second place there.
And they already played them away
Yeah,
and tied.
and they drew. And the only reason
See,
there's a difference right now is because Bayern Munich have 2 draws and Leverkusen only have 1. Go ahead.
See,
Danny.
I've got faith in Xabi. I have got
freaking
faith
coach.
in Xabi Alonso. I really do. I mean, I hope. I really hope they can make it interesting because it was interesting last year until the last day of the season, right? With Dortmund and
It
Munich.
absolutely was an important.
It was really interesting. Right?
Borussia Dortmund shit the bed.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But
By not starting Jude Bellingham, by the way.
but I'm like,
They didn't want to screw up his development.
Yeah, I'm fully behind I'm fully behind the whole Xabi Alonso deal. I think it'll be great, and I hope he does well this year because it'll be the perfect segue for him to leave and go to Real Madrid next year.
And I think you're right. I think he's going to go.
Yep.
To,
I think he goes to Real Madrid.
100%,
Yep.
yeah, 100%,
All right.
yeah.
Let me
We're on the
ask.
same page, Broheim.
Let me ask you this,
Lever-
boys.
And here's the thing with the Bundesliga and the thing with Leverkusen. Then go ahead and ask it. They'll let him go, and because
Don't
that's-
get money for him, probably.
Well, no, but that's what they do. They don't hold players or coaches hostage. They're fine with letting them go.
Yeah.
They appreciate what they take gratitude of what they do for the time that they're there, and then they let them go if they want to leave.
Well, hey, Luke Zagorski. Hey, you like my costume? Tell me yes. All right, boys. Honest question. Like, give me the answer. At the end of the year, you may want Leverkusen to win.
I do.
Do you believe Leverkusen will win? If I asked you right now to take $1,000 out of your own bank account and say you've got to bet it on Leverkusen or Bayern Munich to win, who are you betting it on?
I think if you're going $1,000 right now, I think it's a little bit too early, right? I mean, we all want a league like the Premier League where there's multiple teams challenging, right? I mean, we want that, yeah. And I think that the Bundesliga has been crying out for somebody other than Dortmund and Munich to challenge.
Right.
And what Xabi Alonso's done at Leverkusen in such a short period of time is nothing short of remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy is an absolute genius. And a genius on the field. I mean, when he was at Liverpool, he was absolutely incredible. I love watching him play. He was a midfield maestro. Just put a ball anywhere. And you know what? I've watched some really good players over the years play in the center of the midfield, and he reminded me of Paul Scholes because it almost seemed like he had an eternity in possession of the ball when he was in possession of it, and he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He just made time slow down. What a great player. I think if we go back a couple of shows when we were talking about the Bundesliga, Nate, I think I had Leverkusen in the top 3.
You did?
I did. I had Leverkusen in the top 3. Yeah.
Top 3, 4, yeah.
And I'm going to go with him. I really am. I'm going to go with him.
Okay.
I'm
Nate,
going to go Bundesliga. I'm
are
going
they
to go Leverkusen.
winning $1,000 out of your own bank account right now? Are they winning the Bundesliga?
I don't like betting high.
Oh, jeez. Here we go. All right, Brooks. I mean,
Can I do
hey,
$5?
No.
Oh.
No.
How about,
mm-mm.
all right, 60 is really high.
No, it's going to be
No,
1,000.
okay, so I'm gonna honestly, I'm gonna take them.
Yeah? Oh, I like
and
it. I like it.
the reason why is I think they beat them at home, and I think the fact that they tied them away, and that was a massive draw. They got a very good team, a very, very undervalued team with a lot of players that I think are going to basically be bought bigger clubs like after this year.
Okay.
Florian Wirtz is playing unreal. He's goaling and assisting almost every other game. Boniface, forward striker, is absolutely rocking it too, and hasn't turned it off. So they got a decent bench where they can make some adjustments. If they stay healthy, I do think that they could actually close out this year.
I would absolutely love it if they won, because you're right. There does need to be some disruption in that league, and I think it would bring a little bit of parity. But with all that being said, yeah, Xabi Alonso is probably going to be heading towards Real Madrid in the summer, and that's the way it is. All right, now we are gonna. I do really want to talk about that game that happened though. Bayern Munich, Darmstadt. Listen, 4 minutes. Manuel Neuer, by the way, back in goal, first time making a starting goal for Bayern Munich in 350 days after breaking his leg skiing after the World Cup. Part of that, I want to say about 40 to 50 days of that 350 days was World Cup in Qatar. We remember that happened last year in November, right after Germany were booted out of the World Cup. He went skiing, wrapped his leg around a tree, and whoopsie. Yep. So making his debut back in goal for the season there, Manuel Neuer puts the ball to Kimmich at the top of his own box. Kimmich tries to turn. It's stolen. Kimmich brings the man down and is promptly sent off. Then Darmstadt had a defender sent off. And then 20 minutes later, they had another defender sent off. So 0-0 at the half. And coming out for the second half, it's 10 versus 9. There was so much space in this game. It was unbelievable. Just crazy. And then all of a sudden, Bayern Munich decided to go bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Harry Kane, hat-trick. All three of his goals, phenomenal. Second goal, it must have been 10 yards before the half. He gets the ball, spots the Darmstadt goalie off his line. Rocket. I mean, this thing was inch perfect. It almost nicked the crossbars and went in, just missed it. Brilliant. What an absolute rocket of a goal. Well done, Harry Kane. 8-0. 8-0. That's scary. Go ahead.
I mean, you sat over there wearing an England shirt, and I know you've got English heritage in you, so, you probably agree with this statement. For me, what he's doing right now in the Bundesliga, I'm happy. As an English supporter, as an England fan, I'm happy because come the Euros next year, if he has a good season, continues his form, and he stays injury-free, England's chances of winning the Euros go 20-30% up because of his form.
So I will say this, too. He's playing, and also him, Jude Bellingham, are playing in two leagues that play less games, get more rest time. So you're coming into those type of international tournaments more rested, more healthy.
And two of our top players. Two of England's top players right now playing this year in leagues. You're right. Through the winter, they're going to have a little bit of a break as well. They're not going to go through that, and their body is not going to be as, we'll say, stretched and tortured with all the games.
You get winter breaks. You have one less cup competition. Yeah. And less games overall. Yeah. Because there's less teams in the league.
We have a serious question been asked. I assume we can read it.
Who I want to know who, yeah.
Mr. Zagorski.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Again.
He's all over the comments today.
Serious question. He's tuning in because him and I are developing a good relationship. Not as good as me as Nate, but we're developing a relationship.
Getting jealous.
But he said, no need to spend minutes discussing it, but honest curiosity from our merry trio of esteemed experts. Who wins?
Who's you listening to?
Yeah, we're a podcast.
I know, right?
I want to tune into that.
Who wins an all-star game between the Bundesliga 11 and La Liga 11?
Ooh.
Oh, that's a brilliant question.
I think Bundesliga.
I think Bundesliga.
I think Bundesliga. I'm not just saying that as a legit fan. Think about it. Harry Kane playing up top.
Yeah.
I'd put Florian Wirtz as an attacking mid.
I mean, you got Sane, Musiala.
You got
I
think
La Liga is probably the third best league in the world right now, behind the Premier League and the Bundesliga.
God, the Bundesliga and La Liga are so tight right now. I don't know if I could
There are more since he turned me on to the Bundesliga.
Oh yeah,
there's been more exciting games being played in the Bundesliga than La Liga for me.
It's a different style, right? It's an absolute. But I have friends who love the Italian Serie A, And that, for me, is just
They dead?
slower than watching grass,
I mean,
right?
I
bro?
got-
Are they dead friends?
Exactly.
I got
And
fri-
actually, would you like to know who my friend is? What he looks like? Like that guy, like Brooks right now.
Brooks likes
I
watching
got
the Serie A,
friends-
doesn't he?
yeah.
I got friends who like midget porn. Doesn't mean it's something to watch.
I don't think we're allowed to say that.
What, midget or porn?
Both of them, actually.
That's a Google thing that you can look up, though.
I'm not doing that. You do that on your computer.
By
the way, I do log all the searches that are done in this studio. By the way, and we're gonna have some words at some here, boy. At some point.
Yeah,
here,
Danny's
guys.
computer is very distracting right now.
Yeah, some of the things. That is maybe that is a brilliant question though, Luke. I love it. All-star game between Bundesliga and La Liga. Who wins? Whew, that is tough.
I don't think
That
it
is-
is. I think it's Bundesliga.
I don't know. I mean, you got some freaking brilliant players in the
That'd be a fun- that'd be a
underrated
fun-
players in La Liga. By the way,
That'd be a fun match to watch.
Oh, absolutely. My word. Oh, good Lord. Wow. What a brilliant question. I'm pissed I didn't come up with that. All right, boys. Why don't we read out some of the big scores from the Bundesliga, and then we'll do another check of the table. Bundesliga scores for the weekend. Top games, not all of them, by the way. Bayern Munich 8, Darmstadt 0, as we talked about. Dortmund 3, Frankfurt 3. Dortmund have to come from behind to grab a point there. Leverkusen 2, Freiburg 1. Stuttgart 2, Hoffenheim 3. Nate.
Their best.
Just as I was getting on board with it, man.
Galatasaray, or Galatasaray, their best forward.
He's injured right now?
Yeah, he's injured.
He's injured.
And they missed a penalty kick. It was a good game.
Yeah.
It was a good game. They came back. Hoffenheim went roaring forward, led by their left-footed American center back that can't get any playing time. Jonathan Brooks.
Oh, Mr. Jonathan Brooks, USA International.
Yep. So, but it was a solid game. Stuttgart had to come from behind a little bit from the get-go. Hoffenheim came out with, it was a mistake on the field. Player propelled forward, goal within the first 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And then another a janky, real light foul happened in the box. Waghurst hit a penalty, and then so by the 21st minute they were down by 2. But it was a solid game, and honestly, it's one of those where I don't think they're going to finish top 4.
No.
I've been saying that for a
No,
while.
they won't.
They'll finish somewhere in the middle of the table, maybe, hopefully, within conference or Europa where they can actually compete.
Okay. Well, hey, man.
How about Leipzig?
I was about to say that's next on my list, buddy. 6-0 Leipzig over Cologne.
They have They have a really good squad too, and that's where I'm thinking that I don't see it being Munich this year because of how competitive things are now. Leverkusen has a competitive squad. Dortmund has a competitive squad. Leipzig has a competitive squad. There's Xavi Simons, who is on loan from PSG. Had 2 assists that game, and he's scoring an assist every other game.
You know what? If you think about it, almost every league right now, I know we're early days. We're 9-10 days in. Almost every league, there's upsets. There's some real close in the top. The top 4 or 5, the Premiership, Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A. There's some. It's tight race. There's not a single league that has a runaway team or 2. And that is really good to see.
Xavi Simons, if he doesn't go back to PSG, and I don't think he will, I think he's kind of pissed off. He's one to watch because I could see him easily being transferred somewhere in the Premier League. There was rumors that actually United was keen on selling him and just couldn't get things done, couldn't meet the pay structure, and weren't willing to do a loan with PSG. And so that's where he ended up going to Leipzig, who are fine with doing a loan, So that he's one to watch for sure because I think he's going to be moving after this year. I don't think he's going back to PSG. I could see him easily moving somewhere else.
Sure. Well, let's put up that Bundesliga table real quick as we talked about here. Here we go. We put it up once before, but little final check. Bayer Leverkusen number 1, Bayern Munich 2nd, Stuttgart still holding firm there in 3rd, Nate.
Elephant on a tree.
Yeah.
It's going to come crashing down sometime.
That's all right. You'd rather be there now, right? I mean, better than there than down the bottom like you were all last season. Leipzig in 5th, Hoffenheim 6th, Frankfurt in 7th, Freiburg, they're in 8th. Wolfsburg in 9, and Augsburg 10. Down below, 18th, Mainz, Cologne 17th, and Bochum 16th. Hey, man. I mean, what can you say? All the way from 6th to 1st, you've got a 7-point stretch. So anything's possible. Anything's possible. All right. Lots of Premiership games. Why don't we jump on the big one, the Manchester Derby that happened today? We'll go back and talk about some of the other games after we're done with the Manchester Derby. That was the big one. I tell you what, I have absolutely shit all over Andre Onana for the last several weeks. Not today. He was man of the match for me in that for United. If it wasn't for Onana today, that game's 5-6. Nothing, 7-0, more.
He had a couple really nice saves. And
he did.
He's one of those where it's like, that's where you're hopeful of him that he can be that good player. Like you asked a couple weeks ago, what do I think? I think it's just like Højlund, where he has the potential and all the chemistry and all the things to do it. It's just too soon to tell, right?
By far the best player on the field. Looked like he was into it. Looked like he wanted it. Ball would go out for a goal kick, and he's running after the ball no matter what the score to try to get his team back in it. Didn't see that from anybody else. Was a little disappointed in that, to be honest, from United. But before the game even kicked off, I'm wondering what the lineup was all about. Mason Mount on the bench again. Is there injury issues? Varane, is he still injured? What's going on there? Garnacho, why isn't he getting a start? Rashford, he is starting. Hasn't really performed, done well recently. Just not sure what's going on. We were told there were tactics, or I've read there was tactics by Erik ten Hag, and that's why he picked certain players to start. I don't really know. I'll let you go, Nate.
I don't know about Danny, but I was fine with the starting lineup. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit perplexing here or there, but I didn't think they did bad. You know what I mean? Like, you went into the half 1-0 based off of
oh my God, I love you. I mean, I love you, but fuck you. I love you, but no.
Okay.
Finish your thought, because God, I love you. You're such an optimist, but that was god awful today, and I'll let you finish.
It was, but you weren't that bad, and then you took off your leading defensive midfield, who was kind of winning all the tackles, and then the wheels totally fucking fell off the bus, and that's where I was confused. I was confused with the subs that he made, and I was confused with the players that he left on, and took off. That's where I was more perplexed by that than the starting lineup. But Danny, I'll leave it to you to run with there, and then
this is not a bump in the road. The way that they're playing right now is not a bump in the road. They have been miles off it this season. It's not a bad run of games. This has been poor performance after another from the start of the season, and something has happened at the football club. I'm telling you right now, something has happened at the football club from the end of last season to the start of this one, because then they don't. I said this to you earlier on, Craig. They're not playing for the manager.
Yep.
They are not playing for the manager. And can I ask you a question? What's happening on the training ground? Seriously, what style of play is he trying to adopt this season? Because whatever he did last season, when we played a bright, attacking, free-flowing football that got us third in the league to 2 finals, what is he doing? Because just like previous managers and their tenure, in the second year, he's turned to counter-attacking football and long ball stuff. So what the is he doing?
And here's my thing. I always think body language says more than anything in this world, right? You have one manager who's up 2-0, Pep, on the sideline, touchline, screaming at his players because he's not happy with they're dominating possession. They're up 2-0, and he's up there going, yelling at him, you need to do this, you need to do that, I need you, that's not good enough, da-da-da. And then you got Erik ten Hag just sitting there, not saying anything.
Speechless. I think
and it's like, it almost looks like someone who just is like, I'm done. I'm just done.
I think he's facing the sack, me. I do think he's taping the.
That was going to be one of my questions. How close, or do you let him finish out the season because this is his group of players?
No, I think he's facing the sack, and I think he's facing the sack, and I think it'll be the same rinse and repeat cycle it's been for the last previous 13 years. Well, new manager bump, then 18 months to 2 years of spending 400 million, then sack the manager, rinse and repeat.
He did get the kiss of death from 2 weeks ago report of we're fully invested in the Eric Ten Hag.
Yeah, but they said that before. They said that about Mourinho. They said that
and then
about
they get
Ollie.
sacked.
You know,
They get sacked a
so
month
it would
later.
not surprise me. It would not surprise me at all if they came out this week and sacked the manager. And
That's a kiss of death.
And I want to say this, right? We've seen Roberto De Zerbi, Unai Emery, Ange Postecoglou go to their clubs, their new clubs, and play beautiful attacking football. Right? What's the common denominator that these football clubs have over Manchester United? Can anybody answer that? What's the common denominator that they have?
I'm gonna guess the answer you're looking for is owners that care. And
They have a stable environment of ownership, supporting directors, and improved facilities. And I will say this, at the end of the game, and this is why I love Pep Guardiola. At the end of the game, Pep Guardiola's come out in a statement, and I will read it verbatim. Pep Guardiola, after today, said, somebody asked him today, what is the secret of Man City's success? And he says, open quote, we're in the same direction. Me, the CEO, the sporting directors, the chairman. That is why I think the club is so stable, end quote.
Wow. He's not wrong. He's absolutely not wrong.
He's not wrong at all. There are great managers and players that have came to play for this football club. Jose Mourinho, Louis van Gaal. David Moyes is a great football manager at Everton. Nobody can say he wasn't.
Oh, he was brilliant with what he did, the lack of money he had there.
Absolutely brilliant.
Top six every year.
There's been great football managers and players that have come to this football club, right? And they die before our eyes. They literally die on the field before our eyes. Why is that? The problems at this football club, at Manchester United, they go deeper than the manager and the players. And any neutral football fan that doesn't see that is basking in the glory of United's demise, but it's the absolute truth. Players come to this football club and die. And for me, it starts at the top. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're not wrong. There's a lot going on. I want to read out a couple of things, right? 2 goals by Haaland today. Final was 3-0, Man City. 2 goals by Haaland, which takes him to 11 for the season. The same number of goals that United as a team have scored all season. And according to Opta, since Guardiola joined Man City in 2016, they have earned 145 more points than United. 649 to 504, winning 60 more games in the Premier League, 205 to 145, while scoring 229 more goals. This was said towards the end of the broadcast today, and I heard a couple of people on the We Are Soccer Facebook group say it. They couldn't believe it, and we've talked about it before. This kind of puts Danny's points into perspective. Man United and Man City have spent the same amount of money in the last 12 years. Man City has won Champions League, FA Cup, Premier Leagues. They've won everything in sight, essentially. They've done the treble. Man United have not, and it really is what Danny just said there, as described by Guardiola. At Man City, everybody's rowing the boat in the same direction. And I will tell you, it's funny you say that because Villa have been doing the same thing. They get Unai Emery in, and they clean out the staff in the back. They're all seem to be going in the same direction, looking and scouting for the same type of player that the manager wants. Everybody's on board. Man United definitely have to clean house.
No,
It's not easy to do, though.
It
is not easy to do.
I will say this, and I don't know whether Nate agrees with me or not, right? But you know, and you guys, like obviously Nate works for a big corporation, right? You know, Nate works for a big company.
Michigan Jags. One of the best corporate.
I mean, not just that. He works for Bosch, right?
Yeah.
You know, so he works for a big corporation. Can you imagine going into work and not knowing who your owner is going to be, not knowing whether your job is safe, not knowing whether you're going to be sold, not knowing whether they're going to sack the manager and bring in a new manager when the complete restructuring of this football club happens when it finally gets sold? It's got to have a certain effect on the players, and I'm not blaming the players because there are players at that football club at the minute that don't deserve to be at the football club, and one of them is one of our own. And the thing is that I don't like about the English punditry system in the UK is people like Jamie Carragher and Roy Keane and Rio Ferdinand and Gary Neville and that. They won't call out English players because of passport.
Interesting.
They will call out, it's Anana's fault. It's Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes shouldn't be captain. Whether we agree though that or not, it's always the foreign players that they turn to. They won't attack those British players. And Marcus Rashford, given the form that he was on last year, has been absolutely substandard, poor performances this year in every single game possible. And yet he brings off Højlund yesterday.
Yep, today.
And not Haaland today, and not Rashford.
That is boggling my mind.
Bring Rashford off and stick on Garnacho.
Put him on the bench and let him learn a lesson, right?
Right, and go with the kid that is willing to run his nuts off for the team. Right? But we're sticking behind this English player, and I don't know why.
He has been crap this year. Last year, he was flying, putting the ball in the... If it wasn't for him towards the end of the year, you never would have made top 4 like you did. But now, all of a sudden, he's like a different player. And he's back playing on the left-hand side where he prefers. He's still not getting it done.
Everything seems wrong at Manchester United at the moment. And I read a quote at the end of the game on my way back from our ECNL weekend this weekend. I read a quote from Ten Hag after a game, and it was in the press. And he turned around and he said, the game plan worked. And
what game plan?
I went,
what?
I went, fucking game's he watching?
Yeah.
Like, really, what game is he watching? The game plan. What fucking game plan? There wasn't one.
You know, I'll counter that. When managers come out after a game and they say, you know, the referee ruined that game, or everything worked, or the players just got unlucky, what they're doing is they're setting up the players for the next game. They don't want the players to get their heads down. But when you come out and say the game plan worked when clearly everybody, including Stevie Wonder, can see that it didn't, I think maybe he's trying to save his own ass. He's trying to buy himself some more time.
Like I said, I've kind of lost faith in him.
That was my next question. Listen, I am not a Man United fan. You boys are Man United fans. How are you feeling right now? Because last year, I will give the man credit. He was phenomenal as a manager. He got that club. He finished, I would say, 3 places higher than he should have with a club that was had issues, and he did a great job. This year, Nate, you've lost faith.
Yep. I don't like Bruno Fernandes as a captain. I think he's very, very lacking of the qualities that I would expect to see from a captain, especially for Manchester United. He's not gritty. He's not stuck in. He kind of whines. He kind of points the fingers at everyone else, and that's who's starting every single game. Then we go from the player selection, the subs. I was honestly baffled why you subbed Aaron Bennett. I don't get it.
It's almost like at halftime at 1-0 down, he went, we're going to go after him in the second half. So we're going to bring off Aaron Bat.
But you can
and we'll put on Mount, and we're going to go after him in the second half. And it was such last season when we played him at Old Trafford, by the way, right?
Yeah, you were on.
We're 0-0 at halftime, right? Grealish scored with about 60 minutes into the game and stuff. We scored in the 78th minute and the 82nd minute last season, right? So they kept it really tight until late on. It was almost at halftime he went, we're going to go after him. You know, and I'm going to bring off Aaron back. We're going to go, we'll put Mount on, and we're going to go after him. We're going to go and attack City. It was the biggest fucking mistake possible. They are just... They're so good in possession of the ball. Why do you open yourself up that early in a game?
And I'm okay with you going after him, but why would you take off the player who has the most tackles and won the most duels in your game? Why wouldn't you take off? Wouldn't it be smarter to take off Eriksson for Mont?
I think
go at him.
It would. But Eriksson's been playing well recently, right?
Aaron Bat had a yellow. He was on a yellow card as well.
I don't care.
So you left McTominay on.
Or you McTominay, yeah.
You left McTominay on. He took off Aaron Bat, and McTominay was chasing ghosts in the second half.
Yeah, that's
literally
what I mean.
chasing ghosts.
So it's not the putting on of Mont. It's not the going after him. I'm looking at a team that is dominating you for the most part in possession, and you take off the player in the center that can break shit up.
I've got this theory, right? I've just got this theory at the minute, and I know, you know, he had a rant about it a couple of weeks ago, but he you know, I think we were both wrong, and I'm okay saying that. I think we were both wrong. And I've got this little theory right now is that I think there's more to the Jadon Sancho situation, me. I think there's more. I think the players have down tools right now and not playing for the manager because of the treatment of the player.
That might be. I mean,
I think there's something going on behind the scenes there that either his training performances were good and the manager's called him out, and instead of apologizing to the player, he stuck behind it because he has to. Otherwise, he looks stupid in the public.
Right.
And Sancho's come out and put that thing on Twitter and the players are behind him, and the manager's gone, you need to fucking take that down. And he took it down and banished him. And I think there's a problem. I think he's lost the dressing room at this point.
I will say, regardless of the Sancho thing, and I think that's very interesting, by the way, regardless of that, I think he's lost the dressing room. I think all the players are just going through the motion. Nate, you nailed it. Fernandez is not a leader, because what happens when the chips are down and you're struggling, you depend on that leader to pick you back up and show you the way. And we've all seen Bruno Fernandez's whiny face and his crying, and that can't happen. That's not a leader. Nate, I think you nailed it. And sorry, boys, but I know this is your club, and it's unfortunate, but this is a real struggle at the moment.
I'm hearing that the players might not, which is odd because he brought all these players in.
This is his team.
This is his team, and for him to lose the dressing room based on a bunch of players he brought in, that's really perplexing. What's even more perplexing, and I'm going to say this, if it is because of Jadon Sancho, this team will never be good again in my lifetime, probably, because you can't have a group of players. That means everyone needs to go. That means everyone needs to go. You cannot have a whole dressing room not back your manager, not want to fight for a team based on something that a player said. And then a prima donna player who's had issues. He had 2 issues with your English national team that got him in trouble with curfews and whatnot, and not doing things that he was supposed to be doing. And he had 2 issues over at Dortmund that I knew about that was publicly stated. So he has had issues with other teams, not just at United. This isn't a unique thing. So
yeah,
the fact that he wouldn't go, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I was a little bit frustrated, because apparently the conversation went toxic that when they tried to have one, and that's what got him banished to playing with the second team.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a Sancho thing, but I think United in the last 3 to 4 years have just bought the wrong type of players. Players who just don't seem committed, and if they are committed, they're not skillful, and the skillful ones aren't committed. It's just backwards.
I'll give him some credit, right? I mean, I think Eriksen was a really good signing. I think he's coming in and done very well. I think Martinez was a good signing. I think he's done very well, considering the fact that people thought that a 5'10" centre back wasn't great. I thought he's done really well. I don't agree with the Antony signing. I don't know what it gives us. I just don't. Aaron Bat, I think, is a great signing. Casemiro, I thought was a great signing, even though the form's dipped. Højlund, I think, is a great signing. So there's a lot that I agree with, some that I don't. But I think there's more going on in that dressing room than meets the eye, and we're going to find out real quick because, given their form in the Champions League and the fact that they scraped by this week, they really scraped by this week against Copenhagen. I'm expecting either, if they get beat again next weekend, if he doesn't get sacked tomorrow morning and they get beat again at the weekend, he's gone. He's gone for me.
I mean, I personally don't think he gets sacked this week. I think they'll let him see another week or 2 out. But if he loses again, now I do want to say, I think United have been, I said this before, I think they've gotten very lucky this year. We'll say, Nate, I know you and I disagreed on this. We'll probably disagree again. The Sheffield United game, I thought it took a hell of a goal from Dalot to make that a 2-1 victory. The first game of the season against Wolves, that was clearly PGMOL came out and said they made a mistake on not a cause. That should have been called a penalty, so that game could have ended 1-1. It hasn't been good performances. Now it's all of a sudden showing up, and it's causing them losses. With a little bit of bad luck, United could have found themselves in the bottom 5, bottom 4, by the way. That's how poor they've been this year. I think they've gotten a little lucky because of the quality of the player they have, like an Eriksen, a Mount, and a Varane, and a Casemiro who's been there and done it. But it could be a lot worse than where it is. So it's not all doom and gloom.
I 100% agree with you, and that doesn't happen very often when we're talking about Manchester United. It is not. This is not a bump in the road. This is something that is a consistent trend at the moment, and it can only go on for so long. Again, there needs to be clarity around the sale, and there needs to be clarity around Ten Hag's position within that structure.
Yep.
And that's it.
All right, boys and girls, we have got a lot more to talk about. A game that was postponed due to a coach getting pelted with stones. We are going to talk about the U19 Pan Am games that are going on. We've got a kidnapping happening. We've got Detroit City finishing their season. Did you know that there's plans right now for one club in England to build a soccer stadium specifically for their women's team? And we're going to talk about the rest of the results in the Premiership. A lot more coming up. All right, listen, do me a huge favor. Do go and follow our sponsors, please, on all of the social channels. Soccer World, Next Level Training, Dog and Pony Show, Michigan Jaguars. Do me a favor, follow them on all of the social channels. We are going to take a quick break. We will be right back. Do go get a beer. I'm going to fill up my Dog and Pony Show beer here, and then we'll be right back.
Tempo, yes, drop out, good, yes, touch play, right foot, yes, scan, good, touch in, play, drop your hip, right, yes, good scan, yes, Jay, well done, inside on touch, play, see it, yes.
All right, Brooks, we're at our favorite store, Soccer World in Rochester. We're just gonna do some light shopping. Okay. Nothing big. Ooh, pretty colors. Oh, and one of these too?
Ooh, Germany. Nate would like this.
Hey, Brooks, look at all these. Look what I got.
America. Ooh, wow, that's not MLS. Ugh.
Socks? No.
Ooh, a ball pump.
Next in line.
Sir, you're next.
Right. That's a mannequin, you know that.
Huh?
It's a mannequin.
Oh. Sorry, sir.
Hug, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Huh?
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Halloween special from the weekly recap and We Are Soccer. Hopefully you got a chance to refill that Dog and Pony Show Brewing beer, because I sure did. We did. Lots to get to. You heard us do the United talk. You've heard us talk about Bayern Munich. You've heard us talk about Jude Bellingham, Real Madrid, and the Barcelona El Clasico. Now we're going to get to the rest of the results from the EPL. Everybody loves the EPL. All right, we'll start with that Friday game. I actually won quite a bit of money on this. Went ahead. It wasn't quite as many goals as I thought there were going to be, but it got the job done. Let's put it that way. Crystal Palace 1, Tottenham 2. Tottenham are just rolling. Postecoglou ball, as they're calling it. I am not a Tottenham Hotspur fan by any means, but this year, watching them play, man, it is enjoyable. Heung-min Son is really, really showing his worth. After last year, he came out and apologized to the fans. He came out and apologized and said, the manager's been sacked and I feel responsible. I am not going to let this happen again. I'm going to put everything I have into winning something for this club. And holy hell has he done that. He has fit into Ange Postecoglou's system like no one else in that club. Kulusevski running forward, James Maddison running forward. Richarlison is actually playing, he's playing all right. Very wasteful still, but he fits in. I tell you what, Mickey van de Ven, what a freaking signing that was by Postecoglou and Tottenham Hotspur. That kid is so freaking quick as a center back. Impressive. Very impressive. Tottenham 2, Crystal Palace 1. Wow. That's all I have to say about that. And down the road at Stamford Bridge, Saturday morning, you would think Brentford come calling, in the way that Chelsea have been playing the last couple of weeks. You're thinking, all right, Chelsea's going to keep rolling. They're going to get a win here. Brentford 2, Chelsea 0. What happened? Pochettino, this is a little bit of a slip in the road. I still believe in Pochettino. I still think he is able to get this back on. They have one of the youngest squads in the Premiership, by the way. I see Danny Price across the room looking at me like I'm nuts. Danny.
Chelsea was shit.
Yeah, they
They've
were
been
this
shit
weekend.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They were shit. And I'll tell you what, right? Chelsea put Brentford under pressure in that first half because I watched it because I had a late game on Saturday morning. And I got to watch it. By the way, Cole Palmer is a hell of a player, by the way.
What a brilliant signing for £40 million. Brilliant signing.
What a player. And he never got in that City lineup as well. So, brilliant player. You just found pockets of space all over that Brentford half. But Brentford, Brentford struggled to break through the Chelsea press in the first half. So I'll give a lot of credit to, Frank. Chelsea's issue, though, and it's been widely documented, and we've talked about it on many shows, is that they don't have a world-class striker. And if they had one, I think they would be in a different spot right now. But Brentford made some adjustments at halftime. Made a really fast start and caused Chelsea a bunch of problems. And when you don't score the chances that you create because you don't have a striker capable of doing it, you're always susceptible to being beaten in the Premier League, and that's Chelsea's problem right now. It doesn't matter how good Pochettino is, but he's getting his striker back, right? The guy he signed from
Kunku.
Kunku, yeah, he's getting him back. He's back in training now, so he'll be back in a week or so, or a couple of weeks after the international break, maybe. So he's getting him back, and he's a good forward, very good player, really exciting.
Go ahead and tell us, Nate. Go ahead and tell us.
Bundesliga
player, yep.
No, and it was unfortunate that he did get injured because he got called into World Cup duty, and he's he's a really good forward. So he will put those chances away.
I still think, even though they've spent £1 billion in the last 24 months, I still think Chelsea will go and buy Ivan Toney in the January window from Brentford. I think they will. That's the one, as you said, Nate, that's the one thing they're lacking right now is a forward who can put the ball in the net. I think he will do that for them.
I think that split head that you got during the during the pre-show is causing you to make outlandish statements because Ivan Toney is not going anywhere but Brentford. Nobody's going to sign him.
So. For $65 million, I think Brentford. Don't forget their business model is.
You really think Ivan Toney's worth $65 million?
That's what it's going to cost to get him right now.
Why would they buy him?
Because he's a proven Premiership goal scorer, and that's what
true.
they need. That's
But
what they
I'll
need.
tell you this: if Nkunku's back at training and he is expected early November to be there, there's a run of games that he has before the January transfer window. He has several matches to prove that he is capable to do that striking job. And I think if he's given that opportunity, I think he's beaten out. Sorry, Miss Jackson.
If you had 60 million, right? If you had 60 million to spend on a forward,
Yeah.
right, and you had the choice between Ollie Watkins, Ivan Toney, or
I already answered this question before.
Well, I'm gonna.
who you buying?
I already answered the question before.
I'm buying Ollie Watkins.
When I said last year I'd take Ollie Watkins, when someone in this room was like, "I don't rate him."
Give it to him. If it's,
I'm not buying
But-
Ivan Toney. I'm not
But
buying.
I don't
him
need
at
to
all.
spend $65 million.
but that's what they do, right? They
But
go
I
out and
can
they
go
buy
get-
the new shiny.
can go
thing.
get
That's what Chelsea
Galatasaray,
do.
or Galatasaray
For 17 million.
17,
Right,
who's
that
the
was
leading
the-
goal scorer right now and has scored almost every single match. If I believe I have players who can get the ball into him, and that's what he has at Stuttgart. He has Fulrich, who was playing on the left hand side, or Fulkrug, or Fulrich, sorry.
The problem is, Nate, and while I agree with you, that's what they should do or what they could
If
do.
I have an Nkunku, who I paid $45 million for, coming off injury, doing well, and I go, I don't trust it, and I need someone now, I'll pay $17 million this year because that's nothing for them, just to take a risk to have an extra player.
But here's the thing, though. Chelsea need the money and the extra revenue coming in next year from Champions League, or at least in Europe.
Chelsea are not making the Champions League.
They're not making the Champions League, but they could get to 7th and get into Europe. They need to do something because they've got all these players on high wages. No.
Conference, baby.
You're misunderstanding. I don't think they can, but in their eyes, they think they can. So what do? Do you go buy a Galatasaray? Do you go buy someone who hasn't played in this league, the Premiership, and spend the money on him? Or do you go, there's a striker down the road that we can overpay for in the window, and we know he scores goals in this league, and that's what we're suffering at right now.
Is this the same Chelsea that allowed Lukaku to go to Roma?
Yes.
They had a world-class striker. Doesn't matter what anybody says, Lukaku, as overweight as he was, he put the ball in the back of the net.
There was a training video in him in Belgium, and I was watching it the whole time, like recently, and all I could think was, if his work ethic was better, he'd be so...
Oh my God!
Oh yeah.
If he just switched it on just a little bit,
Yeah.
right, he could be Didier Drogba on steroids.
He was
Yep.
in that
Yep.
Belgium training video. Just they're playing him balls, and he was turning and shooting.
Not
turning and shooting.
disagreeing with you
the guy
guys.
is a goal machine, and they let him go to Roma to be replaced by
For
Jackson.
37 million to
Sorry,
be
Miss
replaced by
Jackson.
Jackson for 47 million.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. And Jackson right now, as I said from day one, he is awful. He is not used to this league. He's not used to the speed of this league. It's going to take him if he ever gets there, it'll take him a year to get up to the speed of this league. Chelsea think they can get to where they need to be.
You know who's
They
really,
got to go buy someone.
You know who's really fast?
Who's that?
Nkunku.
Nkunku. What happens?
great
if he-
player, by the
What
way.
happens if he gets injured again?
you know, I watched
and he's
it-
never played in the Premiership
You know, I
before.
watched
He was healthy up until the training injury that happened.
I know.
It's an isolated incident.
know.
Do you remember when Rangers made that really deep run in the Europa League last year,
Yeah.
and Nkunku was playing?
Yeah.
He was. They played. Was it RB Salzburg?
No, Leipzig.
Leipzig.
He was
RB
Leipzig.
It's my favorite word.
RB. Or
Leipzig.
RB Leipzig.
Leipzig.
RB
played
Leipzig.
for Leipzig.
He was brilliant. His movement was absolutely first class. Like they're getting a hell of a striker.
I think you're right, but there's a shiny object down the road that they can spend a lot of money on and has done it before. This is Chelsea. What else? What do they usually do? They
Well,
go get it.
I just have to wonder.
and if there's other clubs out there who want him, they're going to want him too.
I just have to wonder if things under Pochettino might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
You would hope so. You would hope so.
And I think for a player who played 172 matches and scored 70 goals in the span of 3 years for Leipzig, I think he's money.
Hey, I'm just telling you guys. I think it could happen. Do I think it should happen? No, I think that'd be a poor result for everybody in the end. But I think it could happen because why did they go buy Mudryk? Why did they go buy Nicholas Jackson?
They
Why did
bought
they go buy everybody else? Because they saw everybody else wanting
they
them.
bought Mudryk to keep him out of Arsenal's hands.
Yes, yes. And guess what? Guess who the other suitor for Ivan Toney is?
Who?
Arsenal. The two reported clubs right now are Arsenal
Arsenal don't need
and
Ivan
Chelsea.
Toney.
And you did mention Danny. You mentioned Ali Watkins, who just 3 weeks ago signed a brand new contract, and you can guess what was put into that contract. A big number that says we're not selling you unless someone comes in for this amount of money. Yeah, and that's what it'll take. I'm going to guess the number's probably around 80, 75, 80. I don't know, though. That's just a guess. Just a guess.
Luke Zagorski's on fire tonight. He absolutely is. Chelsea can have Anthony Martial if they want, with a 6-pack of Molsons and a gift card from Soccer World.
Hey, I like it. What about they can have Anthony Martial and probably you'd ship one or two others off as well.
They can take Anthony Martial, they can take Anthony, and they can take Marcus Rashford. And the only thing I want is fish and chips, please.
All right. Well, Chelsea, it's come off the rails a little bit. 0, Brentford 2, as we said.
Doesn't something have to be on the rails in order for it to come off the rails?
So, yes, this is true. I will say again, they were one of the youngest squads in the Premiership. Last week, they had a brilliant first half against Arsenal. The second half, they let themselves down and ended up tying 2-2. They won the week before. I will say Villa beat them. I believe it was 3-0, and I actually thought Chelsea were the better team. There was very unlucky, poor finishing. But I thought they were getting back together.
Speaking of Villa, who scored today for them?
Players.
Diaby.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely class performance.
Assisted by who?
Yeah, it was Leon Bailey who assisted that.
Where they both come from?
So the one plays for Jamaica and the other one plays for France.
Oh, great.
I think you mean the prior league they were in, though, which would be the Bundesliga.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes. Villa did listen. If there's ever a game I've seen Villa not get out of second gear, we're in first gear, we're in second gear, we're scoring goals. Great. And we're going to win 3-1. It was today against Luton Town. Luton Town looked awful. That was poor showing from Luton Town.
You had your pedestal last weekend. Don't get on your pedestal over a victory over Luton Town. Because
no.
Luton Town could get beat by the three of us.
Yeah.
Playing with a crutch.
Oh, 100% agree. They were pissed. Do you know who was playing in the center of the park for Luton Town today? Ross Barkley.
Oh, I remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's he doing?
The fact that he can actually play in the center of the park for Luton Town shows you how bad
I'll say
they
this.
were bad.
I'll say this about Villa, right? And I've said this for a number of weeks now. I think they're absolutely brilliant. You know, they're on cruise control right now and they're playing really well, especially at home.
Yeah. 12 in a row. 12 Premiership games in a row.
Diaby was a fantastic man of the match in my opinion. The only thing that worries me about Villa is how will they fare against top teams in the league?
Yep.
Because there's a lot of evidence to suggest that they can handle the teams 8th and below. No problem, right? But how will they fare against taking on a City, Arsenal, Spurs, Liverpool right now? Because if they can handle those opponents, we might be talking about Aston Villa pushing for a Champions League spot in January.
You are not wrong, my friend. And here's who Aston Villa have coming up next. They play November 5th at Nottingham Forest. So you've got to assume, based on the way they're playing against the lower level teams, they'll get a win there. They are back in Europa Conference League at home at Villa Park against AZ Alkmaar, who they just beat 4-1. Absolutely crushed AZ Alkmaar. Yes, they play in the Dutch Eredivisie. Then they're back at Villa Park again against Fulham. Then November 25th, Tottenham at Tottenham. So the run of games Villa have in the league, Nottingham Forest, Fulham, Tottenham. You would expect minimum 2 wins there. We'll see how they do against the top team in the league. Danny, you're not wrong. We've played 2 high-level teams so far this year in Newcastle and Liverpool and played poorly and lost to both of them. So it really does depend. It does depend on how we fare against those top-level teams. But as I said earlier a couple months ago, listen, I will take a loss to any of the big boys, we'll call them top 4, top 5, I'll lose to them as long as we beat the remaining 14 teams. I'm all right with that. Guess what? We'll still probably end up finishing in the top 6 or 7.
So what are they right now? They're 5th, right? They're 5th.
Yeah, they're 5th. Yeah.
Fifth,
Well, let's put up that. Let's
Put
put
up the table.
table.
Let's take a look at it.
Here you go, sir. So, yeah, Tottenham 1 on 26 points. You got Arsenal on 24 points in 2. Man City there in 3rd on 24 points, only missing out on goal difference. Liverpool 4th in 23rd, and Villa, after 10 games, in 5th on 22 points, a plus 12 goal difference.
See, who did Villa play next?
Nottingham Forest, Fulham, and Tottenham. It's a nice run of games for us, to be honest.
You've got 6 points that you really should be picking up there, and then it's Tottenham home or away.
Away at Tottenham.
That's a difficult one, right? But you're potentially looking at 7 points there that you can pick up, right? 7 points. Is that the only 3 fixtures in November for Villa?
Yeah. No, besides the AZ Alkmaar Europa.
Okay, so you've got 3 Premier League matches in November with an international break, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could be looking at probably going into December, which is the worst run of fixtures for any team in the Premier League.
Correct.
Right? Because it's just so hectic. But you could be in the top 4 going into December.
Yep.
If you're still in the top 4 come January, you're definitely starting to think about a Champions League spot. You have to be.
That is their goal this year. That is their goal.
You know what I mean?
I'm a Villa fan, so listen.
Not to mention the manager.
I'm not
The manager
thinking that far.
has Champions League experience as a manager.
He does. I'm not thinking top 4 because I won't do that until the absolute last minute of the final game of the day.
And I'm not trying to blow smoke up his ass, but I'm just being real. I'm just being very real.
The way Villa.
You not agree that Villa playing good football right now?
Yeah, against nobodies.
Fuck, I thought they played good football against Liverpool, but they just got blown.
Yeah, they got. Yeah.
I don't know
They're
that
not better
Liverpool.
than Liverpool. Let's count it. Not better than Liverpool. Are they better than Arsenal?
You know what?
I would argue that at the minute.
Yeah, that's the one I would argue with. The one I would say Arsenal are not
Arsenal,
playing
you
well.
expect Arsenal to beat Sheffield United at home. I mean, it's a gimme,
Oh yeah.
right?
Are they better than City?
No.
Are they better than United?
Then Tottenham.
Better than United by a mile
Yeah.
at the minute.
I think you were going to go with Tottenham, right?
Tottenham.
'Cause-
Yep.
No, I don't think anybody holds up to Tottenham right now.
Tottenham are playing the best football in the country at the
Yeah,
minute.
it's Tottenham and Man City right now that are the top 2 teams for sure. Arsenal, I think, are being poor and just they've been bailed out with some decent performances over lower level teams. No, I mean you're not wrong, Danny. Listen, at the end of December, let's say January 2nd, we're looking at it and going, Villa right now are in the top 4. You could possibly start to dream, but this is Aston Villa, and things don't come easy for us. We make it difficult. We'll see how it goes.
The two top 5 teams, or what you consider that top 5 teams that you guys played, you got blown out by.
No, I said Liverpool and Newcastle.
Yeah.
The 2 teams. The 2 toughest teams we've played. We lost, was it 6-3 to Newcastle on the first day?
5-1 and 3-0.
5-1. Okay, there you go. And 3-0. The first, by the way, every team goes through injuries. Every single team goes through injuries. Not really an asterisk on that first 5-1 loss to Newcastle. Day before that game, starting midfielder blows out his knee in training in front of everybody. 20 minutes into the game, your starting center back for Villa, Mings, blew out his knee in front of everybody. Heads down, lost it.
Tell you what would be a good thing at this moment in time, and it's so great for us to be able to watch the evolution on the show and being able to have these discussions week to week. It'll be interesting to see how they come out of November and then go into December, but then watching their form over December, and if they can stay in and around 4th, 5th as they hit New Year's in January, if they go into the transfer market in January and they pick up a couple of players here and there to strengthen what they already have, we could be looking at a Villa run.
You know how hard it is.
Danny,
You know how hard it is to pick up a couple players in January.
Chelsea did it.
Villa have a lot of money.
Yeah, and
by the
how'd
way.
that work?
Villa have a lot of money.
It's not about that.
But Villa
will
You
overpay.
can't tell me that there's not
So
some
did
players
Chelsea,
in the
and how'd that work?
Bundesliga and La Liga that would support Villa's way of playing right now.
Nate, I'll ask you.
I'm gonna tell you something.
I'll ask you one question. Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you
Then I'm
something.
ask you a question.
You don't want Champions League right now.
Why not?
You don't have the squad for it yet.
I will.
You're going to look like Newcastle. You're going to look like United. You don't want it. You're about another year out.
Most teams need to get there and fail before they advance. Now, the only thing
they'll take the money if they get there.
Yeah.
They have a lot of money. They don't need it. That's what Craig's just whispering in the microphone.
We don't need the money. But what I will say is the fans are crying out for it. We want it, right?
I think you need to build a bit more.
Now, the one thing, it's not like we went from 15th to 4th if we get in the Champions League, right? It's not like you did that. Villa went from, I think, what were we, 11th, 12th, and then we went to 7th. So this year, we're in the Europa Conference League, and we're progressing. We're playing nicely. So we're getting that Thursday game, Sunday game, Thursday game, Sunday game. We're getting up to speed with it. We did go out and buy several players this summer to prepare for this because we watched West Ham last year fail at it. We are right now in the middle of doing that. As I said, this past week, AZ Alkmaar at AZ Alkmaar, 4-1 win. Come back to Luton Town. Last week, won again.
How'd you do against Warsaw in that Conference League?
Yeah, we ended up winning 1-0, I think.
No, you got
was
your
that 0-0?
ass slapped.
What was that? What was the score on that one?
That was where they beat you
Hey, what
3-2.
what is the if you look at the table, the group we're in,
Yeah, you're tied with them. You're right under it.
with games to go. And again, hey, you know what? It's we're doing well. That's not my priority. I don't give a shit about the Europa Conference League. I care that they're getting up to speed with it. Oh, sure, great. I want us to do well in the Premiership. I'd rather have us finish in the top 5, right? Anyway,
I tell you what's so much more impressive this year about Villa, being in the Europa League than they're in the Europa Conference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Villa being in the Europa Conference versus West Ham being in the Europa Conference was league form.
Mm-hmm.
Like the league form's completely different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying with Nathan.
West Ham was shit during the league.
That they were lucky to escape relegation
they were
last
lucky
year,
to
right?
escape relegation, won it.
But everybody remembers last year that they won the Europa Conference League.
No, Villa won't have to worry about the EFL Cup.
Who the F care? Oh yeah, out in the third round is normal. Who the F cares about the Europa Conference League? To be honest, who cares?
The working people of this world. It's a working man's
true.
cup.
This is true. What I will say though, Nate, is I don't care about the Europa Conference League. I want to do well, but I want us to learn the lessons about being in Europe this year and then coming back every weekend, right? Midweek, Europe, Premiership, Europe, Premiership. So you learn the lessons this year, and if you can do well enough to get into the top 4 or 5 for next year, then you go into Champions League or Europa League next year, and that's where it is.
And Villa are one of the only teams right now that are handling that schedule. Newcastle are really poor at the minute, handling that schedule.
They're struggling at the moment. I don't think they went out and spent as much money as they should have this summer to be prepared
now they're
for
in
it.
deep shit with Tonali missing 9 months, 10 months of the season.
Yeah, 10
Deep
months. Yeah, I agree. Nate,
Come on, my bunny friend. What is on your mind?
Nate, the only thing I want to
You're
counter.
overvaluing the team.
Speak to me.
The only thing I want to counter on you is that Chelsea have done this. You get to pick between Villa and Chelsea's scouting department. Who you picking?
Okay, Villa has signed better players, yeah.
To fit into the system, and they're not. We haven't had to overpay for them, right?
You went to Germany and got a bunch of Germans. Nice job.
I might just jump onto the Germany bandwagon
You
right
should,
now.
because
I
that's
just
what
should.
Villa did. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well,
Tell me
we've
I'm
done
wrong.
it. We've done it twice. Then we went to La Liga. We went French.
You got a bunch of people from Portugal, and you got a bunch of Germans.
Yeah, I mean, we went to La Liga in the last 2 years here. We've been to the French league for Abuba Kamara, Pau Torres out of La Liga. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm happy that the Germans have come in and flown and doing well. Now, we went to Galatasaray and got Zaniolo, who, by the way, today was having a really good first half, but was pulled at halftime because Unai Emery decided, I think we need a little bit more speed down there, so I want to put on Leon Bailey. And just changed the game, and I think it was for the better. So anyway, well done to Villa as they won 3-1. God knows how we let a goal in. I had to flip off. I missed the last 15 minutes of the game because I flipped over to the freaking Manchester derby.
Sorry. Sorry.
So
Yeah, I do blame. You should be sorry.
before we move on to our next segment, I just want to say to Brooks, who's at home right now doing scouting reports.
No, he's not. He's sitting right there. What are you talking about? Hey, bro.
We should let Brooks talk for a couple minutes.
Sorry, Brooks. Holding cookies.
Wait, just,
And
Danny, give Brooks a minute here to get a word in. Go ahead, Brooks. Go ahead.
Brooks?
All right.
Brooks.
Cat's got his tongue or something. I don't know.
Well, you can't have dead air. Let's move on.
So Brooks said, Man United don't scout. They go after the hottest players on the market and think they are exactly what they need Man City to scout. I'm like, Brooks, shut the fuck up, mate. Just go back to writing your reports.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Gardeval wasn't like super sought after.
And
Like-
De Bruyne and Rodri
Holland
and Haaland
wasn't super sought after. Like
Brooks, go.
nobody wanted to get Holland. Not even Real Madrid, United.
Brooks,
Never heard of him.
Brooks, if you are listening, and I'm pretty sure that you are writing those reports.
Hi, Brooks.
Hi, Brooks. Put the pencil down and put the tube sock down and enjoy yourself.
That's unfair. Let Brooks get a rebuttal in. Go ahead, Brooks.
Go
Get
ahead,
your word
Brooks.
in.
Hello? Yeah. Hello? Brooks?
Brooks?
No, Cat's got his
No.
tongue.
Cat's
Yeah,
got
I don't know what's going on there. Yeah. All right, let's finish out the scores there. So Bournemouth 2, Burnley 1. I actually had a draw for this. I'm really pissed off because they cost me some money. Dang you, Bournemouth. Arsenal 5, Sheffield United 0. Wolves 2, Newcastle 0. Newcastle, by the way, this game.
Hold on. Wait, can we go back?
Wait, what? What? Which one?
Jack Grealish, Kyle Walker. Like, I could continue going on.
What are we talking about? Oh,
This guy, like, what
oh.
the hell is he
We're not
talking
going back
about?
to that. We've already disproven it. Yeah.
Nobody wanted Jack Grealish that got 120 million, and a lot of people actually wanted him.
Yeah. Wolves 2, Newcastle 2. Newcastle, man, they're an up and down team. And as you heard Danny say earlier, they're struggling with the midweek European games. Now they're playing better competition than Villa, right? They're playing Borussia Dortmund. Who came to PSG? Who they actually just beat them? Didn't they beat them?
Yeah,
like
they beat
3-1?
PSG.
And they handled them.
They got beat.
Yeah, but
I wanted to watch the Dortmund Newcastle game in midweek because obviously to pay homage to my sexy best friend over here.
Hello.
And I thought Dortmund were absolutely fantastic. I really did. I thought they were set up well. You know, Newcastle had a couple of chances, but I always thought that Dortmund were in control of the game. And Newcastle really struggled with it at the minute.
And if they have an injury or two, see you, Newcastle. You could struggle, and I think they're going to go downhill. Yeah,
Isak went off in the first half of the game, and Callum Wilson came on. Actually, he should have scored, really, to be honest with you, in the first half. He came on, replaced him. He had a really good chance. Goalkeeper made a point-blank save, which was really good. So, you know, but I mean, Dortmund didn't play well, but they played well enough to get the 3 points. But Newcastle are really struggling. Obviously, Arsenal went to Sevilla in midweek in the Champions League and did very well away from home. Martinelli with a couple of goals, and then they've obviously come home and took care of Sheffield United. But
now they've got Isak out, and Tonali, as we know, is out. So I would like to know from the viewers who are watching, where do you think Newcastle finished this year in the Premiership? What position? Because Tonali, they spent $80 million, and they were banking a lot on him running the midfield for them. He gone. Almiron, I think, at some point will hit a wall. Dan Burn, I think, will hit a wall. Pope, by the way, made a mistake or two in the Wolves game. I think the midweek European games and then all of a sudden the quick turnaround is what's going to hurt them. And I think in December, Danny, as you just said about Villa, this is where we're going to see the true colors. I think the same thing of Newcastle, really. So I would like to know from everybody who's watching, where did Newcastle finish in the Premiership? Where did they finish this year? At the end of the season, what spot will they be in? Question to you boys, Nate, Danny, where do we think they finish? Give me a spot.
I don't know right now. I think if I was to go on early season form and I was really looking at the table performances and the way that the teams are setting up right now, I'd definitely put Villa above them. I would definitely put Brighton above them. So, I mean, we're talking about 7th, 8th, 9th, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think they finish 7th or 8th. Now, you said Brighton above them. Brighton have gone through a little blip in form, tying 1-1 this weekend with Fulham. Yeah, and then they got spanked the other week by Villa 6-1. They're normally a team that kind of does this, but now it seems to be a little bit of up and down. And I think
Brighton are always going to be there and thereabouts. they play such good football, and Serbia has them playing such good football that I don't think it'll be very long. I mean, everybody goes through a little bit of a blip during the season. Every team, Brighton will be back. But Newcastle, again, you mentioned it earlier on in the show that I don't think Newcastle strengthened as much as they should have done in the summertime, and whether that was by design or not. But I don't think Newcastle strengthened as well as they could have done to compete on all fronts, which are
They had a poor summer, in my opinion. Nate, where did Newcastle finish? Fifth.
Yep.
That's pretty high, my friend.
Yep.
So that means they essentially miss out on Champions League next year.
Their losses 1-0 opening match
Where
or
do you-
second match against City.
Where do you put Manchester United?
I don't want to talk about that.
Those are the questions. Those are questions that are reserved for me, my friend. I'm the one who likes to poke, not you.
I think the 3 losses they have were against three of the better teams. One of them being Brighton, and that was away. And Brighton's or at home.
Brighton are hard to take down at home.
Hard to beat at home.
Yep.
They lost a nail biter against Liverpool that scored 2 goals at the waning minutes, and then lost 1 against City. Then I'd say Liverpool and City are top 4 teams easily, and to kind of squeak out there, I could see them as a club with a lot of money going into the transfer window, going in January, we need to be in Europe somewhere.
Yeah.
Now we're going to splash cash. I could easily see them splashing cash, Newcastle, especially with their current loss of in players.
Yeah, let's put up that table again real quick. So Newcastle currently find themselves in 6th. By the way, they're on 17 points, 5 points out of 5th behind Villa there, and there's Brighton Hove Albion 17th as well. Now, both teams, Brighton and Newcastle, have 3 losses and 2 draws. Brighton have poured in the goals, plus 15 goal difference. Brighton, not so much. The 6-1 spanking didn't help their cause to Villa. They are plus 4.
It's starting to pull away. You can see that, right? You can start to see that pull away. So if you look at Newcastle and
Brighton and Man United there.
Newcastle, Brighton, and Man United. It's probably, West Ham you could probably take out of that, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
but now you're looking at a 7-point gap between 8th and 5th, and an 8-point gap between 8th and 4th.
Yeah.
And you're looking at Newcastle and Brighton, and you're going, okay, well, that 5-point gap on 5th, that's a big gap.
Yeah.
That's 2 games.
That's a big gap after 10 games.
Yeah, it is.
Between the top 5 and then the bottom.
It is. It's huge. And then you look at 6th and 1, being a 6-point gap. That's 2 games as well. So, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Brighton are probably there and thereabouts. I would say Man United are in huge trouble at the minute. Huge trouble. Hate to say that, but they are. And Chelsea are in even worse trouble.
Chelsea down on 12 points. I mean, after they have 3 wins on the season.
Yeah, it's
3 wins.
I mean, 12 points. You're looking at 14 off top spot.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not even in the same postal district as Tottenham right now. So,
you're not wrong. I will say, listen, let's read out the rest of the results as they come off here. We talked about Wolves 2, Newcastle 2, Villa 3, Luton Town 1, West Ham 0, Everton 1. Everton get a freaking win at West Ham, by the way.
Landmark moment.
I put money. Listen, West Ham didn't play poorly last week when Villa beat them, but I figured West Ham, they're doing all right this year. I think they've got their stuff together. They took a little bump in the road last week to Villa. I think they'll get it done this week against Everton.
Landmark
Not
moment.
so much. Yeah.
Landmark moment in that game, by the way, because it was Dominic Calvert-Lewin's became the 4th player, I think, to reach 50 Premier League goals after Tim Cahill, Duncan Ferguson, and Romelu Lukaku. And to be honest with you, they're going to need every single one of the points that they're picking up right now because they're facing a 15-point gap, 15-point deduction for breaking financial rules.
Oh yeah, they are in big trouble.
Deep shit.
Like, we all thought Man City was in a little bit of trouble. This is way worse. This is way worse. If at any point, so here's the thing. We have a bet on the bet board. Some of us in the room think that, let me see. Yeah. Actually, that's just me and Brooks. Brooks and I have a bet that 15 points for the season. I think they finished with lower than 15 points. Brooks thinks they finished with more than 15 points. What happens, boys, if they get deducted points?
Your bet stands.
Yes.
At the end of the day, they need every single point that they get, because here's the
do.
kicker, right? And I was working this out today on my drive back from Grand Rapids from my ECNL weekend. Let's say that Everton finish on 40 points this season, right? Which is normally enough to stay
That'll
up.
keep you
right?
up.
It'll keep you up 40 points, right? If you take 15 off of that, you're looking at 25 points.
And then you're
in relegation.
There's
battle
usually
right there.
one team in and around 25 who have given up and just been relegated, by February. We know who it is. And then if you finish at 25 points, you're gone.
Yeah, so they have
No
to
way.
they have to have a near perfect season.
Not going to happen.
Right, and it's not going to happen. So with a 15-point deduction for financial breaking financial rules, they're relegated.
The problem is they'll do what City did, right? They'll just get it in the courts, get it held up in the courts, get it held up, get it held up, get it held up. But I think this is way more serious than Man City, right? This actually could happen this year. This very well could happen.
Generally, when you hear about it at this time of the season, it usually comes into effect in the calendar year. So we could hear about this deduction being taking place in January. And how many points are they at right now?
Let's put that table back up so we can see. There, Everton actually up to 15th on 10 points. So they're definitely get more than 15 winning points. But
so before January, you're thinking, okay, well, maybe they can get to 20 points. If they take 15 off them in January, they're at 5. So that puts them at 18th.
Yeah.
Which is not bad right now because Luton, and I think that really the saving grace is the fact that Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United are doing so poorly right now.
Lord, are they bad?
Everton could probably take a 15-point deduction and probably still be okay.
Up.
But it's a big worry.
Yeah.
If I was an Everton fan right now, I'd be like, get as many points as you possibly can before they throw this hammer on us, and then we'll deal with the consequences. But
they did just go to West Ham and take points there. West Ham 0, Everton 1 is brilliant. Brighton 1, Fulham 1. Big surprise there. I thought Brighton would walk that and take all 3 points. Fulham, well done for going to Brighton and getting points. Liverpool 3, Nottingham Forest 0. Big. We'll talk about it in 2 seconds here. We'll talk about it now. Actually, something hanging over that game. Liverpool at the team hotel Saturday evening get the news that Luis Diaz's parents were kidnapped in his hometown in Colombia. So he met with Klopp and the staff, and they decided, even though he was going to be due to be in the starting lineup against Nottingham Forest, he left to go home to be with his girlfriend and his son to get more news on what was going on. His mother was rescued. His father is still being held captive. One of the things that was put around in our group text board, I completely agree with it. What the hell is happening in the world? People are kidnapping other people and holding them ransom for footballers because of the money. Just a terrible situation. Something nice that happened in the Nottingham Forest game today was Diego Jota, who took Diaz's spot in the starting lineup, scored a goal, ran over, grabbed Diaz's jersey and held it up, and all the thoughts and the prayers, and did all that good stuff. But that was nice to see. But even after the game, Klopp said, we came back in, we won a Premiership game. We were smiling, but we weren't really laughing and joking and having as much fun as we normally do because there's something bigger than football going on. We were very worried about Luis Diaz's father right now, who's still out there, and we don't know where he is. So it's just man, some of the shit that these people have to deal with, right? It's terrible. Terrible, the things that are happening.
Well, it's sad for the family. I mean, it's the poor fella. He's got to go out and he's got to try and play a professional football match and worry about what's going on at home, and it's just awful. I don't want to get into it because it's political, right? But I will say this about Liverpool's performance. And again, it kind of, Nate will be over here smiling when I say this, but Sloboslai was fucking.
Who?
Brilliant.
The guy is.
Who?
Sloboslai.
Szoboszlai. Yes, he played.
He
in
might
the
be.
Bundesliga.
Where'd he come from?
He might be.
Where'd he come from? Just
Yeah, he came from Germany.
Signing of the year.
He might be the
Could
sign
possibly
of
be
the
signing
summer.
of the year. The only one I will say that will rival him another Bundesliga product, Moussa Diaby for Villa.
Yeah,
I think those two right now are.
Szoboszlai is absolutely brilliant. He ran the game for Liverpool. And the only one that's really outshining him right now at Liverpool is Mo Salah. Salah is back to 2-3 year ago form. You know, and, you know, I just hope that Liverpool can keep him fit and scoring goals, because I tell you what, I pick Liverpool right now over Arsenal challenging City for the title. And Spurs, obviously. You don't want to rule out Spurs, but Liverpool are way up there.
100% agree. The way Liverpool are playing this year, they are the team right now to challenge City.
Yeah.
100% agree. Yep.
100%.
Yep. They are playing just solid football in the middle of the park. They are running games. And I saw the meme again this weekend with the frying pan on the stove and the egg that's broken over on the side that missed the stove, and it said, what's his name? Darwin. What's his name? The striker, Darwin Núñez. Listen, that kid's gonna come good. I think he scored again. That kid's gonna come good, man. Núñez is gonna be a player. It's just taking him a little bit of time to get up to speed.
I'm not sure. You know, I'm not
Núñez
sure
and
whether
Salah.
I'm not sure whether Darwin Núñez is going to turn into a Haaland, or he's going to turn into an Anthony Martial. I'm not sure which yet. I'm leaning more towards an Anthony Martial, all hype and just
But
all goo.
he works hard for the cause. Klopp seems to really like him and what he does on the field, and he said, "Listen, we don't employ him to score goals. We employ him to score. We employ him to work hard and create opportunities." And he does that. I don't know.
Craig Bellamy worked hard, but he was shit.
Oh, there's a name. There's a blast from the past. Craig Bellamy. What a. There's an article on The Athletic about him. I've got to go back and read it. It was just popped up this past week. I do have to read that. Welsh international Craig Bellamy. What a player. All right, so there's some other news we're going to kind of chat about here, boys. I don't know if you know, but Lyon versus Marseille was postponed. The side made their way, Lyon made their way to the Stade Vélodrome with a game between League One rivals later being postponed. Footage showed damage to the bus windows. And Coach Fabio Grosso being led into the stadium by two of his assistants. He was covering his face and his hands, which was stained with blood. Probably a lot like this. Apparently, fans of Marseille threw stones at the coach, the bus, and it broke a bunch of the windows, and the glass hit the manager, and he was all bloody. The match was postponed because the players were a bit shook up. Everybody inside the stadium had to leave. They were a bit shook up. Grosso injured by shards of glass, needed medical treatment. They said it was pretty bad as well. So this is happening more and more. By the way, this happened, I want to say it was Villa driving home from Sheffield United. Where did they play earlier this year? I can't remember now. The same thing happened at a Villa bus. People just throwing stones at the opposing. What the hell is this about? This is ludicrous. I mean, listen, I love rivalries. I get all that. There's the throwing the finger up. There's the shouting and screaming at players. But when we're talking about throwing rocks and throwing things at team buses and trying to hurt people, this is getting a little out of hand. This is hooliganism to the next level.
Welcome to hooliganism.
Yeah.
That has been going on for hundreds of years, my friend.
I know. It's just, I thought we'd gotten past this.
No. We'll never get past it. As long as your arsehole points downwards, we'll never get past it.
I'm going to walk on my hands. I really thought we'd started to get past it, though, but yeah. Nate, you wanted to comment there. I'm sure, yeah.
Ever tell you my experience with the German hooligans?
Yes, but you want to
involve an arsehole pointing downwards?
No, it involved me almost really getting into my ass handed to me by like a large body of people. So I was at a Stuttgart match. It's like the first match I ever went to. And, there might have been heavily adult beverages going on, so judgment was a little bit cloudy. And one of the guys I was with and a coworker, they're like, hey, we're going to meet up with our cousin. We're like, all right, cool. And then he's like, hey, our cousin's part of one of these, one of those supporter groups, all the crazy guys, right, the supporter groups. And I just wasn't thinking, right? I was like, oh, okay. They're like, well, you want to go out? And he's invited us to go party with him a little bit after the game. And I'm like, all right, sounds good, right? We walked out to what I would consider like a double wide in the middle of nowhere, like a couple kilometers from the stadium. Walk in, everyone's wearing like the same like red shirt, right? It's like sea of smoke, beers, everyone's talking, packed. And so I'm talking to like my one of these guys, one of my guys that I came in. We're speaking English, obviously, because I can't speak German. And all of a sudden, like, it opened up, like in the movies, and like almost like a record scratch, like everything went silent. And this guy comes out of nowhere and just goes, "Who the f are you?" And before I could even say anything, the cousin comes swooping in like out of nowhere and just. In German, just calm down, you know, and like whatever he's saying in German, like real fast, and they're pointing at me, he's pointing at me, they're pointing at me, and they nod, and then like the guy walks away, and I look at the guy I'm with, I'm like, what just happened? He goes, oh, nothing, and I went, no, no, that wasn't nothing. What was that? And he goes, well, it was clear that you weren't from around here because you're speaking English, and they thought you were crashing. But he explained to him that you're the biggest Stuttgart fan in North America or whatever, and so you're cool to stay. And like 10 minutes later, that guy who like approached me raises up a glass and goes, "Hey, American, hey, Prost." And so I might be in a hooligan group now. I don't know.
So you're a hooligan. All right, cool.
I almost
Weird.
I almost if it was like two seconds later. I think I would have been getting beat.
Yeah, you would have had your ass
if that cousin did not swoop in. I felt danger.
All you have to do next time you're in Stuttgart, you know, and somebody guy's pointing a finger at you, you just need to turn around to him and go, "Hey, Schießdenfester."
Nope.
I have no idea what that means, but it sounds
no. I will.
fun.
I think all I have to do is let the other guy talk me out of the situation.
Yeah, go with that one. Hooliganism raising its head again a little bit there. All right, we got a couple of topics before we head on out. Ladies and gentlemen, as we talked about earlier, Detroit City lost 4-0 to Louisville last night in the quarterfinals of the USL Championship. That ends Detroit City's season, unfortunately, and also brings to a close Trevor James's time as the DCFC head coach. He now moves upstairs and becomes a general manager. His first priority? Finding his replacements. Detroit City this offseason looking for a new head coach, and they will need to bring in some additional players. I feel like they lacked in the goal-scoring creativity this year. Hopefully Trevor James moving upstairs can now focus on bringing in some new players and a new coach. So great season, though, I will say. I think... Listen, there was some point this year we all thought, all right, this is just going to be the second-year blip of the USL Championship. We're not going to make the playoffs. But to Detroit City FC's credit and Trevor James's credit, well done for getting to the playoffs and actually causing one of what is being called the biggest upsets in USL Championship history as they went in and beat the Pittsburgh Riverhounds last week. So we haven't done it. We haven't done this very often. We need to give a big round of applause, I think, to Detroit City.
Brooks,
where are you?
Brooks.
There it is. It took me a while. There you go. Brooks not being here has really thrown me off, and I now have to do the soundboard. Brooks, we missed you, buddy. The soundboard isn't the same. But congratulations to Detroit City there. Also, another big congratulations goes out to the USA U19 women's national team in playing down in the Pan American Games. Big games. Amalia Villarreal, 3 games. 3 goals. Also, young lady out of native Michigander, Keely Titmus. She plays for the Nationals. So another big congratulations to those young ladies. Well done, ladies.
It is pretty cool to see local people doing.
Molly is tearing it.
Oh my gosh,
she's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say enough about the kid. I mean, she's just, you know, I've coached her for Super Y for 4 or 5 years. You know, she helped us win a couple of national championships for Super Y. She's just an incredible young lady, very, very grounded. Mom and dad are amazing. You know, her younger sister's a great soccer player as well. You know, they're just a wonderful family. You know, and it's nice to see. I mean, I know Keely as well, you know, good goalkeeper, and what they're doing over at Nationals is a great job as well. So every credit to them both. You know, and
hopefully it continues.
Hopefully, yeah,
they continue right along
it's
this.
so nice. Like, you know, we've got local kids that are going onto a national stage and they're doing very well for themselves. And no matter what club or entity that you're working for, to see kids succeed is awesome.
You know what was pretty cool? To piggyback on that, I was watching Reed at juniors.
Your son playing for the juniors?
Yes.
Michigan.
And Anthony there, Coach Anthony, Mission Jags, is like, yeah, I got the Columbus Crew Youth Academy guys coming in to run a session with my MLS Next kids because they're interested in signing a bunch of them.
That's great.
I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And here comes two guys and crew stuff, and met them, nice fellas. That came on in, drove 3 out. They're probably gonna go to the Wolves 2 afterwards, maybe. I would assume. And it probably wasn't just a one and done stop, but they ran a whole big session for the boys, and I was like, that's pretty awesome.
I think there's a lot of, we get caught up sometimes. I know we don't talk about it a lot on the show because of the fact that we work for competing clubs and all that sort of stuff, but I think there's a lot to be said about the fact that there's a lot of really good coaches and good people out there at the moment that do a lot for these kids and push them into areas to get them noticed and to get them opportunities that they wouldn't normally get. And, I think there's a shout out that needs to go out to all the coaches right now that are working with young players in our state. We're producing some of the very best talents that we've ever produced.
Yep.
And those coaches deserve a massive round of applause because at the end of the day, we all compete 100%, but it's about the kids.
Yeah. No, I agree. Absolutely 100%. Michigan Jags, Nationals, Liverpool, some of the other clubs out there doing a phenomenal job producing kids that are now going on to the next level, as we've seen with Keeley and Amalia here. It is great to see. I've interviewed Amalia and Keeley, and both just super grounded, super good people. Some of the hardest working players you will see and meet, and that right there is an aspect of why they have gone on to what they're doing, because they're willing to learn from the coaches they're training with, but also they're willing to get down and just work and try to be better. So congratulations.
It's not just one club that's producing these players right now. I mean, you've got the Tigers and Michigan Jags in a little part, with Chloe Ricketts that produced Chloe, and Amalia's obviously the Jags, and Keeley's with the Nationals, and you've got Sophie Holman, you got Lily Bosley that with Liverpool at Michigan right now and doing very well. So it's great to see. I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. These kids are getting opportunities, and it's brilliant to see.
I hope one day to get one of those opportunities as well. Nate, can you tell Anthony?
You mean by you hope means you, not your kids, right? You yourself.
I don't give a shit about my kids. I want to go pro.
Yeah.
So if you could tell Anthony that I want the
two Columbus Crew guys to come scout you, I think they could.
I'm playing Thursday night at Total Soccer Novi East. They can come watch me play. It is an open league, so there are players of all ages.
Yeah,
18 and over. I think I may have a chance.
Mate, if there's a walk-in soccer league out there, like a walk-in soccer league, I'm drafting you. Like you're the first player on the team sheet, mate. If there's a walk-in soccer league out there, because all you do is walk around the fucking field.
Wow. Remember at Goal the Dream Begins, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it. That's you. That's you. Thursday with the Columbus Crew Scouts.
Yeah, you know it. So I still got a shot, right, boys?
Yeah, hey.
Yeah, you still got a shot. Yeah.
I can get. Hey, Brooks.
After you get over your concussion and bleeding.
If Messi can play in the MLS. So can you.
Hey, Brooks, I'm coming for your league.
Oh, yeah.
Coming for that MLS. Talking about the MLS, they've announced the 3 finalists for the 2023 MVP award.
Yeah, buddy.
Here they are.
Mm-hmm.
Here they are.
Mm-hmm.
Diego Almada, 11 goals, 19 assists. That's a hell of a ratio, by the way, 11 goals, 19 assists. Dennis Buanga, 20 goals, 7 assists. I take it by that noise you like them?
No,
I don't know. Luciano Acosta, 17 goals, 14 assists.
Give it to me, baby. Oh, and that number is off.
Well, no, it's only on regular season. You were only regular season.
You had a goal and assist, a goal and an assist.
Yes, only regular season is supposed to count.
I would like to go with Luciano Acosta.
Lucio
Acosta.
Yep.
Right here.
Yep.
He is good.
I think by all accounts, the award is essentially heading to FC Cincinnati's Luciano Acosta. So he can kind of just
do the coach of the year next.
No.
There's actually 2 or 3 that's up for that, and I don't think
We only have 60
No,
seconds
Pat
left.
Noonan is.
No, he's
he is
not.
up.
He is.
But I don't think he wins it. I think there's
No, I don't think he wins it either.
yeah.
Dare you?
Sorry.
I think the St. Louis coach wins it for me.
yeah.
He took the team that was the worst team in the league 3 years running, and
Doesn't
They're doing
matter.
expansion.
They're a new expansion
Yeah.
franchise.
it's
He
you know,
gets it.
I do give a lot of credit to that. That is that
Yeah.
because he did something, but that's going to be a tough one.
Oh, yeah.
because I don't think what Pat Noonan did is
Oh,
No,
I
it's-
actually
no, I agree
thought
with you.
he the best team in the
I
league,
agree with you.
and
It's
he went from shit to best.
It's either Pat Noonan or St. Louis coach.
Yeah,
I forget
for
his
sure.
name now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in all seriousness, you guys make a good point with the St. Louis coach because it is not something that.
Nate, you did the same thing I did. I said, Coach,
You
that's
agreed
gotta
with
be
me.
Pat Noonan. But then I went, wait a minute, FC Cincinnati.
I always-
Your pants are on fire right now because you agreed
Pants on fire, heart's desire. Sitting next to Danny is a dream.
Oh my God. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap us up for a Halloween special at the
That-
weekly
That was
recap.
That was the scary part.
That was very scary, to be honest. From We Are Soccer.
Don't forget,
Ooh,
vote for Pedro.
vote for Pedro. You changed your outfit halfway through, so now you're.
It's itching my head.
Yeah, it was, and your mustache fell off.
I left my.
The stash fell off. It stuck to Nate's ass.
Hot damn. I left my costume on the whole time. It took me hours to come up with this.
We noticed.
Yeah,
Thank you.
lots of makeup went into looking this good.
All right, thank you to the boys in the studio here, but also a big thank you to our partners, Soccer World, soccerworld.net for all your soccer gear needs. Thank you to Next Level Training. The boys are the absolute best trainers in the country. Thank you to Dog and Pony Show Brewing. Appreciate you boys supplying the beer for the show. Thank you to Michigan Jags. I know I've had a great week of Michigan Jags soccer, so I appreciate that. For me and the boys in the studio, you guys have a great, happy Halloween, and we will see you.